Hello, welcome back and well met. WR Freight here, and I just wanted to jump on here today and I'm going to change pace up a little bit. I know the last few days I've been working on uh, the World of Alderrhūn, the continent of Alderrhūn, and mapping those. However, this time we're going to switch it up a little bit. While I'm still working on the continent of Alderrhūn, today we're going to switch over to the world of Alderrhūn, home of Alderrhūn, which is a series I'll get to talk a little bit more about down the line as it's developing, and I'll even go into the history of it. I love the way that the history of Alderrhūn is forming and shaping, and I can't wait to actually detail that and show it and put anything involving Alderrhūn up on the Stone Tower. So far there's nothing about Alderrhūn on the Stone Tower just yet, but it is coming. Matter of fact, I may have to add that to the cantankerous cauldron just to let you know that, hey, this is what's brewing and coming soon. Alright, now what I'm going to show you here is not so much a map as it is a cross-section of the actual world, a geographical cross-section. I know you've seen cutaways of the Earth where it shows the crust, the mantle, the core, and so forth. Well, this goes in a similar sense, but a lot deeper. You see, the internal side of Alderrhūn is the home of some of the elemental realms. And you'll get to learn more about the elementals and what their role is in Alderrhūn at a much later date. However, this world, which I am excited to share with you guys, is it's a whole different process than what I've done or even considered with the continent of Alderrhūn. And while Continent of Alderrhūn is my ongoing, lifelong project, this one I hope everyone will be introduced to very soon with what I've got plans for it. But I'm just enjoying where it's coming from. So anyway, what I am going to do is I'm going to open up my pen that I'm working with. Hello there. I feel like I'm peering over a wall. Hello, you guys. How are you? Anyway. Alright, now let's flip this around here and let you get a good look at it. Alright, this is Alderrhūn. This is the outer crust, and you see the oceanic layers and such. You see the earthy layers in between. Right here you're going to see the first of the twofold earth realms. You see a realm of stalactites, stalagmites, very cavernous. You see another one of a geode-like properties. You see the internal fire realms, which would make up like the central core, and this would be the home of that. You see an internal ocean, which is yet to be covered in. You see the water. You see where I'm working on building a waterfall. The waterfalls to show that this is the way into the realm of the water elementals. Then you see, of course, the air, which would be the home of the air and the wind elementals. And you see these massive mountains known as the pillars of the world, or the pillars of creation, which are living earth elementals all of their own, which we'll go into more detail about later. However, we are actually in the process of working on these mountains as we are, and this is what I wanted to come in and share with you, some of this process. So you see a similar map making technique with the drawings as you've seen with the World of Areth. Actually, I just realized, give me just a second, I'm gonna flip you back. Alright, as you realized, I just opened up the wrong side of my pen, so I got to fix that. But now, before we get started, I'm going to show you a concept map of the original known world, which I'll show you some of the other map later. The real map of the seven kingdoms of Zendora. So anyway, this. Okay, I'm going to move these markers aside. And you're familiar with my mapping style to some degree, so you're going to see, this was like a concept map of the continent of Zendora. So let's work on a few of these ancient elemental mountains here, these pillars of creation. So what we're doing is, they're called the pillars of creation, which date back to the primordial wars. Helps if I actually keep you up here where you can see what's going on. But it takes you back to the time of the primordial wars between the Primorians, the elemental titans, and the gods of Alderrhūn. Again, this is just a little bit of that lore behind these. But let's just say Alderrhūn wasn't created in the same sense as many worlds. It got its own origin and is built up on an older world, much older world. See how I'm trying to give it the mountain. Don't want to put too much gray. I'm not trying to just outright color them in, but I want to give just enough where you can see some of the stony appearance of the mountains, but also have that above the snow line where you see the snow caps and stuff like that going on up, way up, as if these are holding up the sky, which in effect they are. In this sense they are, because the original world of Alderrhūn, which that's still a working title for the older world, but Alderrhūn was destroyed in the primordial wars. And when the world was rebuilt, these massive elementals, these massive mountain-sized titanic elementals, took on a job similar to that of Atlas of Greek mythology, except instead of it being just one titan that held the heavens up, these are titanic elementals who are basically the pillars that hold the sky and the elemental realms of the winds up while they healed, so they ended up staying that way. Like I said, there's a lot of history and such, and I will go into more detail as a history. In fact, I am writing, and I've already sketched out a brief creation for the World of Alderrhūn. However, I'm going in and actually building up the world and filling in the details, the necessary details needed to make this, to flesh out the actual story and what happened and how everything came to be and such. Now, just as a little note, the elementals of Alderrhūn are not your typical look like a roaming wave of water, or a humanoid wave of water, or a tornado or tempest or anything like that. That would be their armor and their battle dress. Instead, you will find that the elementals, especially the Primorians, are incredibly and breathtakingly beautiful in their creation. And such that in the history following, some of the gods of Alderrhūn become, some of the gods actually married or became mingled with the elementals, creating other such creatures. Anyway, here we go. Oh, we only got 2 more of these mountains to go. Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to get this fixed. I feel like I just kind of half done that one. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, that's looking better. See, I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for it. There's nothing perfect looking when you see snow on the side of like the Alps, the Himalayas, the Andes, the Rockies, or any such mountainsides. Can't really say that much about the Appalachians. I live in an area where we have the highest peaks of the Appalachians nearby, and you don't, except for in winter, you really don't see any kind of anything close to a snow cap. You just see a frost line, because for as old as they are, they have worn out over time. Anyway, and yeah, before I jump off here, I will show you a map of the continent of Zendora, just to kind of let you see what this world, what this is actually a backdrop of. And if you like what you're seeing, man, drop me some comments down below. Let me know you're enjoying, and maybe even let me know some things you would like to see, because I would love to create content and let you see some of the aspects of world building, maybe even tell some stories and things that you would enjoy seeing. These things would actually be great to allow you to become more acquainted with the worlds and stuff that I'm building, and maybe even be excited to see what comes of some of these. There we go. Alright, see how it's coming along? Look at that. Alright, I'm going to zoom this thing out so you can see it. There you go. And as you can see, all this will be getting filled in. All this will be getting filled in all the way through here, all this and this. And what that's going to do is provide a geographical map of the realms of the elementals. And that, to me, is exciting. And I'll be honest with you, part of what inspired me on this is the old show in Humanoids from way back in the 80s. But if you look it up, and you can Google it, if you look up back when some of the toys would have a description of where some of the creatures lived, they would have this cutaway of the earth, and it was not a cutaway as we knew it as a cutaway, but it revealed the earth as being open and hollow with an inner world that was its own, it was its own biome. Each layer was, home to different creatures and different life forms that all worked in conjunction according with the inhumanoids. And certain inhumanoids were the inhumanoids were the evil creatures, the evil titans of that realm, while the other creatures worked in harmony against them. But that, I like the way that cross section was always done, and so I used that as inspiration to develop the elemental realms of Alderrhūn, which in doing such makes a world of difference, because you can be when you draw inspiration from certain things. Just because you draw inspiration, you're not taking from it. You're just taking elements that you see in there that, ooh, I like these elements, I like this, I like these concepts, and then you're adding them and you're adding them to the things that you're doing, which is original ideas, and you're making original ideas. So anybody that sits there and tells you, oh, you're just borrowing from this or you're borrowing from that, yeah, maybe you are borrowing from it, but you're not copy and paste. You're actually borrowing what you like, the things you like, and then you're doing with them what you would like to. Then you're doing something completely original with them, using them in your own style to create something new. And even art has been done like that over the years. And I'm walking over here to get the other map I want to show you, so that you can actually get a good view of that. Hold on a minute. Okay, it's wanting to not. I'll cooperate better if I will actually let go of this. Which I'm going to go over here. I'm going to set you down so you can see what's going on. As I'm unraveling this, I'm gonna spread it down on top of the map of Lauren for now. It's not gonna hurt anything. And the famous last words of a fool, right? Oh well. Alright. Now, to show you Zendora. Alright, this is the continent of Zendora. And this is where the seven kingdoms, this is where the kingdoms of Zendora and all them come from. I keep wanting to say seven kingdoms. I don't know why I'm doing that, but still. But no, this is the kingdoms of Zendora. I've already got several lands already in the works. I've got the what is that? Got Thandor's Rift that I'm working on. I have got another one. I'm going to let you. Let me get you up close. I felt like one of those intros. All right. I've got one of the lands that I have created already for this is the Vale of Elembor. Forgive the pitiful printing, but yeah, the Vale of Elembor, which would be right here in this location approximately. And then with the Vale of Elembor, as you see, I've been working on many of the areas concerning There's detail, there's settlements, there's history. I mean, so there's a lot. There's everything has a reason to the name, which is something I'm very paramount about. But anyway, that is the world and that is the continent that this belongs to, or that belongs in this world. All right. Well, I am going to go ahead and bounce off of here for now. Anyway, like I said, if you want to learn more about any of these, comment below and just let me know whatever you want to find out about as what you would like to see, what you would like to hear about as I'm building my world or building my worlds, any stories or such, and histories, mythologies. I will do my best to relate them as possible, and I might even do a video detail, just highlighting some of the myths, legends, and so forth. Anyway, I thank you for joining me, and I will talk to you again soon. All right, WR Frady out, and have a good day.